Half a decade ago, Nintendo released the Nintendo Switch. This is actually my launch console, the first one that came out March 3rd, 5 years ago. So much has changed since the first year of the Nintendo Switch. For example, Nintendo was putting out a new Zelda, a new Splatoon, a new Fire Emblem, a new Xenoblade, and an old Mario Kart, and I was just trying to make it as a content creator back then. And this year, Nintendo is putting out a new Zelda, a new Splatoon, a new Fire Emblem, a new Xenoblade, an old Mario Kart, and I'm still trying to make it as a content creator. I guess history has a way of repeating itself, but we're not gonna let that overshadow the wonder that has been the Nintendo Switch. So today, I want to go over 25 of the best Nintendo published games that I got to play over these last 5 years. Of course, my years will be a little bit different because the console came out on March 3rd. The years will go from March 3rd to March 2nd the following year. So that's how it's gonna work, and let's get into it. The first game I'm going to cover is of course an obvious one, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I was honestly almost hesitant to talk about it because at this point, like, who doesn't have this game? It seems like everybody has bought it at this point. It is a great game. It is of course the ultimate version of Mario Kart, and it is only going to get more ultimate as there is promised DLC coming in the future with 48 new tracks. That doubles what we currently have. I'm surprised they didn't just try to round it up to 100 tracks, because we're gonna be at 96 of them. But like I said, Mario Kart is a must-have for everybody. I'm surprised there are people out there who don't have it at this point, but it is the Mario Kart for the Switch, this console lifespan. So if we're holding out on Mario Kart 9, I'm sorry to tell you, it's probably gonna be on the next console, so this is one that definitely needs to get picked up. The next game was actually a pretty poorly kept secret, Mario + Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This game was leaked very early on, and people just were, understandably confused. It was not a game that seemed like it would work, but it honestly has become one of my favorite games on the Switch to this day, even though I bought it at full price and it's constantly on sale. So I have always been a fan of strategic RPGs and kind of strategic gameplay, and mixing that with just the quirky world of Mario and Rabbids, which honestly, I'm not too attached to Rabbids, but this made me like them a lot more. They are the minions of the video game world. There were moments in this game that I was just like, how did this manage to surprise me? Because it seems like so obvious in hindsight, but overall, the game is just packed with really great moments. The gameplay is really fun, it's fast, and I'm so ready for the second one. Oh, they're making another one. Are we stuck in a time loop? So the next three are going to be, of course, very big picks for everybody as well. The first is, of course, the 3D Mario that we have for this console generation, Super Mario Odyssey. Loved this game. I remember playing it and just feeling like I couldn't stop smiling. Every single moment I was just like, oh, how nice, how pleasant, how endearing. It was a game that just made me happy every time I turned it on, and I couldn't remember the last time I got that from a Mario game. Hot take here. I had trouble getting into Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 to the point that I have not played them yet. I will try to fix that about myself. But all in all, Super Mario Odyssey is such a fun adventure. The music is so great. The controls feel so good. Seriously, I tried to play some other 3D platformers directly after playing this one, and it just wasn't as fun as an experience because the game is just so tight. The next game is, honestly, it's number 2 on my most played games on the Switch, and it's over 1,000 hours. I spent a lot of time with Splatoon 2. This game is so addictive. It is part of me at this point. I just love Splatoon. I honestly bought a Wii U way back in the day for Splatoon. I tried it out at my brother's place, and then I bought a Wii U and I got Splatoon, and then of course I got Splatoon 2. It is phenomenal. I'm still playing it almost way too much still, but Splatoon 3 is on the way, and I'm sure I will honestly drop off of Splatoon 2 and just switch over to Splatoon 3 after that happens. So this is going to be one of the few ones where I'm going to say don't get it yet. Just get the new one. Number 1 for 2017, the first year, is of course going to be Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's still one of the top games on the Switch, but also like of all time. Zelda Breath of the Wild took all of those early concepts from the original Zelda and turned it into this 3D open world adventure that just feels like the natural progression of the series that, I don't know, it just works for me. I loved it. I know I have friends who didn't quite so much. Don't attack them, they're my friends, but still they're wrong. They're very wrong. Zelda Breath of the Wild is good. I cannot wait for the sequel. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Take all the time you need, Nintendo. Make it amazing. I know you're going to, but please also let me play it now because it is my most anticipated game at this point. I'm ready to play the next one. I honestly think this is like, if you've never played a Zelda game, this is going to define probably like the next 10 years of what Zelda is. I guess it's already defined 5 years of what Zelda has been, but I think it'll continually be the source of inspiration for the next games, just like Ocarina of Time was way back when. It felt like we were just getting a new Ocarina with almost every new iteration, but we have a new formula now. Breath of the Wild, it works, it's fun, and I'm just, oh, give me the second one already. Alright, so let's get into 2018, and I've gotta tell you, 2018 was definitely a slower year, and not just for me, but I'm sure other people felt it. There was one big obvious release that is going to top my 5 list here, but I mean, let's get into it. So, this is Nintendo Labo. I mean, it's not. Full disclosure, I did not get Labo. This is a cardboard box, but that is basically what Labo is. Okay, so even though I did not get Nintendo Labo, I really wanted it. I kind of wanted to make that little keyboard thing. It looked cute. I just couldn't bring myself to spend all that money on cardboard ultimately, but I do regret, and I mean, honestly, this came out next year, but I'm just gonna lump the whole Labo thing together here. I do regret not getting the VR support, mostly because I'm scared that one day they'll add VR to Animal Crossing and I will finally be where I belong. But all in all, Labo was it's just such a Nintendo thing to come out. It is so out of left field, it's just so completely unexpected, and honestly, maybe one day I will go and geek out on it, get a copy, and just build some stuff with cardboard, but it is something that just feels so unique and something that only Nintendo could really provide, you know? The next game on here is Octopath Traveler, and I have always been a big JRPG fan, mostly like those old Final Fantasies, all of those turn-based things with just like, I don't know, just fun little fantasy worlds that I could dive into, and Octopath kind of gave me that, and in 8 different ways, really. There are 8 different stories going on in this game. You can pick whatever stories interest you at any point and just follow them along, and yeah, it's just like, the game is pretty. I just really like how it looks. It is such a cool looking game. Anyways, it is a long game, as all JRPGs are. I haven't finished it, but I have been wanting to return to it. Maybe at some point when there aren't 1.5 million games coming out. The next one on my list is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Oh my goodness, I've got to be honest with you, I don't think I would have liked that game as much if not for this. This Pokemon Joy-Con controller, I don't know, Pokeball controller. It's my favorite controller of all time. It came with the Mew, it just like, it wiggles. I'm upset that they haven't made this controller work for any other Pokemon games. Like, what's the deal, Game Freak? Make it happen. It has a button on the top. Okay, I think Tetris was the very first video game that I've probably played, and it is one of those games that just keeps existing, keeps coming out with new iterations, and somehow it stays relevant. It has stood the test of time, and Tetris 99 is a delight. I think I've gotten 3rd place once. That was probably the highest that I've ever ranked in Tetris 99, but I want first. I need to go back to it. Tetris 99 and honestly Puyo Puyo Tetris. I played so much of both of those. They're just it's such a unique concept to it where you are fighting against 98 other people and just trying to get that top spot. Like I said, I've never done it. Have you all done it? This is something that I need to do before the Nintendo Switch online service eventually dies and gets put to rest, much like, unfortunately, the Wii U and 3DS. It's happening to those right now, so I need to get back to this. I need to really put an effort into getting first place. But Tetris 99, it's free if you have the online service just to everybody. It's just like, why not try it out? Why not pick it up and try it out? You can learn how to play Tetris and I dive into the world of just like competitive Tetris players and I'm just like, my brain can't do that. It is phenomenal what these people can do with the game. I'm amazed every time. And of course, a little bit of a slow year. These weren't the biggest games for me, but I know this next one is definitely one of the biggest games for lots of people. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the ultimate version of Smash. It has... After 5 years, it has ended. There are no more new characters, but still we are left with the biggest compilation of stages and music and characters and just so many things to do in one game. It's not the Smash that I played the most. I definitely got more time out of Melee, but it's definitely a game that I enjoy playing with people. I've picked it up a few times here and there just to play with friends, and it's a good time. I don't really try to be competitive in it anymore either. I used to be, one of those 1v1 no item types of people, but now I'm just like, you know what, give me the stage hazards, give me items. I just want some wacky fun for the night. So yeah, that's 2018. Definitely some of the smaller things here and there, but overall, it did enough to keep people entertained. Alright, 2019. The first one I want to talk about is another Pokemon game, Pokemon Sword and Shield. I personally got Shield. That was a mistake. Sword just has the better characters in its story. I don't know. I honestly still haven't played the DLC just because I can't stand the little top hat guy. I like the other one better. Anyways, these games are definitely I feel like it's the start of Pokemon moving into that 3D world, that 3D environment, which, I mean, we're going to talk about a game that I think did a lot better with that a little later down the line in this video, but overall, it was fine. I think that's a little harsh to say considering it's making it into the 5 best games of the year, but it does offer a lot of content. It does have a pretty cool set of Pokemon, and honestly, like, the wild area was a really good taste of what Pokemon would eventually become. Okay, this next one, oh man, Ring Fit Adventure is... I think I'm at the point where it's more of a workout than a game, and sometimes I'm just like, it hurts a little bit to play this game, if I'm being honest with you. So it is a workout. You basically do a bunch of exercises to defeat enemies and things, and it is mostly, I think, as a tool for anybody who's like trying to live a healthier lifestyle, try to learn some exercises. It's a really good alternative to the prices that you'll pay learning from a trainer at a gym, for example. This feels like a really good way to start and really get into exercise and start learning how to just take care of yourself. Overall, definitely a fitness game, and at times it feels a little less of a game and more of the fitness part. From here we have Super Mario Maker 2, and there are parts that I like better about Super Mario Maker the original, but there's also a big part of Super Mario Maker 2 that I think was better for me in general. I think the things that I liked about Super Mario Maker the first go around was definitely the amiibo support. That unfortunately does not exist in this one, but it does do something that I found very helpful, and it gives us its own story mode that kind of teaches you how to make levels. And honestly, I haven't made any levels in this game. I don't really spend too much time on the level creation. It's it's not something I'm great at. But I do really appreciate having just like a whole set of Mario levels to enjoy with like tools and things that are mixed together in ways that I feel like doesn't really happen in the main like 2D Marios. So if you are in need of some 2D Mario, I honestly don't know when we'll get another one after this, just because I honestly don't know. I just don't know when we'll get another 2D Mario. This seems to be like how Mario is being interpreted in the 2D space at this point. But there are tons and tons of levels for you to go play that are both Nintendo made and fan made. All of them are super awesome. Oh, the one thing I wish worked better on this would be the online. I remember playing just a little bit of 4-player online because it does have that, and the versus stuff. It would be so fun if it worked. I would play it so much more if this worked better. All right, the next one is Luigi's Mansion 3, and I've got to be honest with you, I only play this game in October because it's a Halloween game, and October is a Halloween month. So I haven't beaten it, but I'm pretty darn close. But we'll see if I beat it this next October. I'll make time for it. I'll try to. Regardless, I am a fan of what I lovingly call Vacuum Simulator. I just love going through all the rooms. I like sucking up all of the things and putting them into my vacuum, and I don't know, it just feels so satisfying to me. Maybe I just need a vacuuming game. I really enjoyed the multiplayer on this one, and I bought the extra multiplayer DLC, which was like $10 or so, and am realizing that I never played it. Will somebody play that with me? But it's definitely one that I think shines in the multiplayer. It is just like, the mechanics work really well. They thought of fun games for people to play together like that, and yeah, this one is, funny enough, just like one of my top multiplayer games. The next one is, of course, number 1 on my list for 2019, and that is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've been a Fire Emblem fan since the Wii. I think that's when I got my first one. I got Fire Emblem, Radiant Dawn, and I guess I really found out that I love strategy RPGs, so I'm kind of liking what's coming up this year, but regardless, I just love strategy RPGs. I think it started out with Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and then there was the Pokemon Conquest game, but Fire Emblem, it's just so refined. It is such a challenge. It's just a really cool story with each of them too. I think Fire Emblem is a game that is definitely not for everybody, but I do think the most recent iterations have made it so much more accessible for people. For example, people no longer have to play with permadeath on. I still do because I don't know why. If you've really been kind of like hesitant to try the series, it is definitely the time to do so. Fire Emblem Three Houses is honestly a deal. There are 4 different storylines in the base game without the DLC. Like, you can honestly get your fill of Fire Emblem for a lifetime with this one. So that was 2019. Let's go ahead and move on to 2020. What a year. So the first one I want to talk about is Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and if you manage to find a copy of this game, which you'll have to do it physically at this point, I recommend getting it because it is no longer being printed. They're not going to make it anymore. Just go and get this one. Basically, you get to relive all of the original 3D Mario games. You've got Mario 64, you have Mario Sunshine, and of course, Mario Galaxy, which remember, I haven't been able to connect with that one, still having trouble with it here. I think I need to make this the year I finally play Mario Galaxy. Well, I'll fix that for you all. I did make it through Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. I 100%ed Mario 64, and I kind of chuckled at myself for doing it because I know so many people trying that game again were just like, nope, this does not work anymore. But it is a childhood game of mine that I loved, so of course I went back through it. Mario Sunshine, I actually only really got to play it growing up going to my grandma's place. Funny enough, she had a GameCube there. There was Mario Sunshine on it. I never got to beat it, but I did eventually with this new iteration, and honestly, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Once again, this one is no longer available digitally. You're gonna have to find a physical copy of it. Hopefully you can, and if you do, like, it's just one that you should have for your collection. So this next one's a funny one. I really like Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. What a title. We're just gonna call it Clubhouse Games. I love this game. I just love playing. I play Mancala way too much on it. I love Mancala. But even beyond that, like, I love the dominoes on there. Ludo, I just play so much of that as well. And then what was the last one? Hit and Blow. For anybody who likes Wordle, Hit and Blow is one you should try out because it's the same concept, just with colors. There are so many games that you can play on that, 51 of them. It's in the title. I enjoy it. The online is really easy. The matchmaking, there's online matchmaking. I can't believe this game is just like, it's so simple and it just works. All right, the next one on my list for me is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. And normally, and to this day, I have no interest in Warriors games. I only really wanted this one because of the Zelda theme, and I didn't even care about the first Hyrule Warriors. I just cared about this one, specifically because it was related to Breath of the Wild. For anybody who felt like they were lacking in the story of Breath of the Wild, I think the first half of Hyrule Warriors does a good job of like telling you that story and recapping it in a way that you just don't get in the full Breath of the Wild game. The gameplay does become pretty repetitive by the end, but honestly, like, I just want to play as Zelda. Can we get a game where we can play as Zelda? I guess this is it. This is the one. We can play as Zelda, we can play as Mipha, we can play as all of our favorite champions. There's only one character that's not on the roster that I would have liked, but I won't spoil that for you all if you are planning on playing it. But overall, I just loved diving back into this world. It was a nice little in-betweener for me, and once again, I am looking forward to Breath of the Wild 2. I need it. The next game on this is Bowser's Fury. I know there's more to that game attached. I think it's Super Mario 3D World, but that's not on the list. It's specifically Bowser's Fury. So Bowser's Fury is basically like the 3D world? It's basically 3D world and it's open world. I don't know. They combined the two. It is so good. There's so much tension. There are super great moments in that game. I honestly only played that. To this day, I've not touched the Mario 3D World side of this game. I already beat that on Wii U. That's honestly not the experience I wanted. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying that I wanted to play Bowser's Fury. And play it, I did. Honestly, I haven't 100%ed it yet, but it has been one I've been meaning to go back to. Maybe at some point I will do that, but for now, I've just gotta say, for it being just a little bonus extra package and fairly short, I felt like I got my money's worth from that alone. And I think this says a lot about the game. It's just a really high quality interpretation of Mario 3D World, and it seems like they're playing with these mechanics and looking into kind of more of an open world Mario, or at least just something that can utilize the open world aspects in a bigger way for the series. So I'm really looking forward to whatever's next with Mario, especially if Bowser's Fury is, inspiration to whatever's coming. Finally, we've got to get to, I think, the game that we can all say saved 2020, because once again, this was a little bit of a slower year, but 2020 would have been so much worse if Animal Crossing New Horizons did not exist. I can say so much about Animal Crossing New Horizons. I have said so much. I don't know if you all know this, but I have a podcast called Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast with over 200 episodes of us talking about Animal Crossing New Horizons. So this game is wonderful. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It is the evolution of Animal Crossing that I think a lot of people have been looking for. Maybe some older fans weren't too huge on it, but after 4 games, I was ready for a big change, and I think this provided it. I'd say this is the most playable Animal Crossing game that's ever come out. And by that, I mean, older Animal Crossing games honestly had so much waiting. There was a lot of wait time involved to, get things to happen. This game feels like they filled in a lot of that with so many things that you can do. You can finally decorate outside. The decoration in general is so much better. There's so many cool new items. It's just it is such a good step for the series, and it makes me excited for what's next. So Animal Crossing New Horizons, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. All right, so this gets us to the year 2021, and honestly, as I looked through each year, and I look at what came out in 2021, for some reason, this might have been my favorite year. So let's get into it. The first game I want to talk about is Mario Golf Super Rush. I love the Mario Golf series. It is by far my favorite Mario sports title. I know everybody has a different favorite than me, but Mario Golf was always it for me. I wrote Mario Golf fanfiction in 4th grade. So this game is one that I truly enjoyed. The story mode is so fun. It is so much more exciting than the Mario Tennis story mode that we had. I just love that we could run around the world. I love the bosses. The bosses were very interesting. And then just like having the multiplayer on top of that, I played this game so much online with people. Every time I'd log in, I'd check if some people on my friends list were playing, and then I'd just invite them to play with me, and they would often accept. It was great. But now that more people have kind of like dropped off of it from my friends list, they do have the ranked mode now, and honestly, it's fun. I really like it. It's really like low stress ranked, which I think I need in my life right now. You don't really go down in rank, you just really build up points, and you play against 3 other people, try to get the best score. It's really not a big deal if you don't, because no matter what score you get, it seems like it improves your rank. Every month, people just try to reach the top of the leaderboards. And honestly, I don't have enough time to commit to that because, like I said, these are people who are just like putting real time into it and just getting their score higher and higher. I am just happy to log in, get a few rounds of golf in, and just have a nice evening. Oh man, the next one, Mario Party Superstars. I think the only thing that this game needs is just DLC. Give us more boards for this. The 5 that we have are wonderful, they're great, but I just need more out of it. I love this game. It brought back so many memories for me. Like Mario Party, like the originals 1, 2, and 3 were just like staples of my childhood, and to be able to experience a lot of those, along with like, they have GameCube mini games in there too. They have a bunch of different mini games from like throughout the series. So I'm just like, where are the GameCube boards? Where's the Wii boards? Come on. I love this game. I play it with my friends any chance I get. It was one that I had fun with my family over last Thanksgiving, and I think it, like I said, the only thing it needs is more boards. Add more of them, and I will play this one forever. Alright, so the next game that I'm going to talk about took a surprising amount of hours out of my life, but that is Warioware Get It Together. This game is addictive. I think the biggest part of this game is that once you beat it, it unlocks the Wario Cup, and oh my goodness, I had just so much fun trying to get the top place in that every single week. My friends were battling me. My friend Wumbo would always win, but it didn't stop me. I had to keep trying. All of these challenges are unique. They're just like new ways to look at how to play WarioWare, and really fun changes to what the gameplay offers. Because, I mean, ultimately, it's like you move a joystick, you click a button, and you do whatever the action is on screen. It's just really fast-paced, the game goes really quickly, but just seeing that they have these iterations of how to play and seeing it change up in the Wario Cup makes it just so fun. It makes you excited for every single week. The new challenge pops up, and it's been a little bit since I've logged in, but it is something I think about pretty often, and I do want to go back into it and play as many of those challenges as possible. So I don't know how many people I told this to, but I wanted to do something different in 2021, and one of those things was try to get into a series that I was just never into before. I'm really glad I picked the series I picked, but I picked Metroid. Over the summer, I played Super Metroid, and I also want to apologize to Metroid fans. One, I'm sorry that it takes so long for Metroid games to come out, and two, I'm sorry if I ever bashed Metroid too. It was undeserved. They're really good. Regardless, I got Metroid Dread, and I was excited about it, and oh man, it is good. Metroid Dread is like the ultimate iteration of Metroid to me, mostly because I felt just the movement was on point. Everything I ran into, it was like so incredibly difficult, but you just tried it over and over again, and then all of a sudden you're just like, I am a master. I am so good at this game, until you hit that next wall again and you're just like, how do I beat this? But you just keep powering it through, and then it's just like, I don't know how they did that. How did they constantly make you feel like everything was the hardest thing you've ever run into, to the point where you're just like kicking butt left and right? It honestly is amazing to me, like how good that game feels and how it just makes you feel like you're just good at video games. Anyways, Metroid, once again, I'm sorry that they don't come out often enough, but now I'm one of those fans. I am one of those fans who's just itching for a new Metroid, so bring on Metroid Prime 4. I probably should play the other ones first. The last game I want to talk about, oh man, 25 games. There's so much to talk about in this console, but the last one has recently taken over my life, and that is Pokemon Legends Arceus. The last video I actually made was all about Pokemon Legends Arceus and just how I felt the game nailed it. I have not connected with a Pokemon game like this in a very long time. I already have 65 hours on it, and it's been out like 3 weeks. It has not been out very long, but it has just totally ruined old Pokemon for me. I talked about this in the video, but my favorite thing about it is just like how relevant it made the Pokedex. The Pokedex is something that I've never really felt a strong need to complete, but for some reason, this game just has gotten me obsessed with it. I need to finish this Pokedex. Every single day, I turn on the game, I chip away at it. I really want to get to level 10 on all my Pokedex entries so I could get that shiny charm, and even shiny hunting. I have had no interest in shiny hunting before this game, but all of a sudden I need to do it. So Pokemon Legends Arceus is just like, it's that next step in Pokemon that I've been wanting them to take. It is such a new interpretation of the series, and I don't see myself wanting to go back to the classic style Pokemon games in, I don't know, probably ever. So there we go. Oh man, that was a lot of games to talk about. 25 of the best Nintendo Switch games over the last half decade. I cannot believe it has been 5 years of this. 5 years of just like wonderful games, honestly. I know there are plenty of games that I left out of these lists, and honestly, like, I tried to cover as many as possible that I played. Like, these are just the games I played. That is an obscene amount of games to play in 5 years. And so I do want to talk about some of the games that I regret missing a little bit later on. I want to talk about a lot of indie games that I got to play on this console. There's just so much to cover, so I hope you are excited for some of these videos. I hope you enjoyed this one, and for now, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye!